Hi, everyone. Welcome to RbD's Workout Wednesdays, a weekly show designed to deliver bite-sized training sessions that equip and empower you with practical tools to unlock and unblock your path to success. Our show features industry experts from our other weekly show, Rev Shots. We're showcasing real-world tactics and strategies that work. Tune in to make your numbers, retain your team, and delight your customers. Follow me on LinkedIn or join our mailing list to stay updated on our latest speakers and episodes. Let's move forward together, one Wednesday at a time. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Workout Wednesday. We are here with Chris Baden from FlowChat. And Chris and I have had some amazing conversations. He's one of the most high quality individuals I've had the pleasure of coming across lately. You will absolutely love every conversation with him. I guarantee it. Chris, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, appreciate you having me. Excited to have the convo today.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And you and Adam were on our show Rev Shots just a couple weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, not too far.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Chris, you are a serial entrepreneur. You are a husband, father, and you appeared on American Ninja Warrior. So I just have so much respect for your journey and what you're going through and all that you are doing. Fill in some color commentary for us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your background and you.
Yeah, when people are like, "Hey, how's it going, Chris?" and maybe you have some friends or family like, "Oh, same old." That is the opposite of what's going on over here. It's very full. There's adventure and new connections and new trips and businesses and family and all the things. There's also just the normal hardships of life. And all that being said, I like to use the word full. It's full. It's like, how's it going? It's like, well, here's some really good stuff going on. Here's some stuff where you're just like, this is really unfortunate, not so good, all at the same time. I'm sure people can relate. But on the business side, I don't think I told this on the other show. I had one W-2 job. One salary job, and it was the first year out of college. And while I was doing that, I was already I was also freelancing like nights and weekends, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, like they're paying me a salary, like I could like fund this whole department if I I had like this plan. And so it was really early on that I realized I was like, oh, like I don't think my brain works or thinks the way that, like, at least at that time, most people around me were thinking. And so I was only there a year, and we parted ways. And then I've basically been commission only, my whole life. I do it in quotes because it's like, I've still commission only, basically, just not commission only for myself or marriage or family, but also like everyone on the team. And it's like, we got to keep producing every single week or no one's fed and happy. So,
right. Yeah.
That was kind of the beginning of my entrepreneurial career. I'd say that I'm a founder by blood, not by title, because it's how I've navigated the world. Like one of my businesses shut down. This is 2016 when I was running an insurance agency, believe it or not. For all the people in the United States, I was a State Farm agent. I had a suit and tie, clean shaven. I was your good neighbor. And man, that's just not my gig. Like the office and anyway, there's other challenges with the business model. Like I didn't own the book of business. We collected over $1 million in premium, like dollars collected in the first year. And I didn't own any of that book of business. And so I was like, well, that doesn't sound good. Right. Anyway, so I didn't know. I didn't come from entrepreneurs or like a bunch of family that are running businesses. So I didn't go to school for it either. So I just got plunged into commission only sales, and then started learning more about marketing and ops and finance and branding and all the different components of running companies and leading people. And it was painful. There's a lot of what do they call it? Like the ignorance tax.
Yes.
There's a lot of ignorance debt starting this venture, but fortunately I've been able to, survive it and then help a few others along the way.
Yeah. And, Chris, you just covered a lot of ground with all of that statement, right? And I agree with you. I think there's beauty in knowing who you are and how you're wired and what that looks like, which also begs a higher level of self-awareness more than just, I don't like it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think congratulations to you and everybody who's kind of at that level where they're like, okay, I don't like it. I think I know why. Here's what I want to do instead. Right. And so I think the other topic I heard you talk about was the ignorance tax. And, there's a difference between, I'm not going to say the word dumb, right? But I think there's a difference between.
I was kind of like dumb in a lot of
I
spots.
am too.
So,
I'm so
to be fair.
I think there's a difference between whether or not you can cognitively do something. Like, I will never be a relative physicist. I will never be Albert Einstein. I cognitively cannot do that.
Yep. Yeah,
However,
respect all my doctor friends out there.
Totally, 100%, right? Like, I know who to go to because I know what I don't know. I think the flip side of that is paying attention to what it is you're drawn to and what comes naturally to you, because what comes naturally to you or to me isn't going to come naturally to other people.
Yeah.
Right. And so I agree with you, though. Ignorance is bliss. There are certain things I wish I could unlearn.
Yeah, like to like what you're saying, like, I totally forgot to end one of the open loops. Many open loops I've probably already started, but when we were just having our second kid, and it was 2000, middle of 2016, I ended up shutting down that insurance agency, and that was actually no, that was 3 months before my first son was born. And hadn't paid myself for a year. We still had a 2-year lease agreement on the building, so it was somewhere over $30,000 still owed.
Yeah.
And that was a ton of money for us we just didn't have that at the time. And didn't, anyway, so in all of that stress or pressure of feeling like not even half a man, like, cool, I can't provide for my marriage, my family that's coming, and I feel terrible. With all those feelings, like, I'm not like, okay, I'm going to get a job and like just get things stable. And then I just started selling the furniture in my office. And then I figured out that Facebook did ads. I didn't even know. And then I was like, okay, well, I can get leads for $1. Like, I can find something to sell them. Like, that's how that's how I like navigate, is like, how do I solve problems? How do I, scale? How do I serve people, with excellence? Those are the things that, when my back's up against the wall, like, I use to not only, at that time survive, but then continue to use to thrive.
Yep. Yeah. And I love what you just said too, where it's not the woe is me, doom and gloom. It's a, how do I solve this?
I need to live. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, we were talking before we went live. I think everybody's got something right now, whatever it may be, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. And there's a lot of interesting things going on right now. We'll just say that, right? And I think there's something to be said for, it's very easy as humans where we go, why is this happening? But understanding why something happens isn't going to make it any less sucky. It's better just to go, oh, okay, what do I need to do next? Like, what are my next 3 moves? What is my how? What am I doing? How am I doing it at the end of the day?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And so I am a huge fan of Scrappy. So yes.
Well, in terms of what you're just saying, like, hey, what are next steps and what can we do? I know, feeding off of our last conversation, a lot of, like, in terms of go to market, in terms of, revenue by design and all that, there has been some models and design that I've used like over and over the last 15 years that have helped in 4 different industries. I don't do this alone. Like, I've had an awesome, business partner, Sean, like the last at least 8 years, and his wife, they've been amazing. And we have a third partner in flowchat.com now, Bruno, is over product, and 15 other people on the team. And, to accomplish something greater than yourself, it takes more than yourself. In marriage and family and business. And so I've been, really blessed. Anyway, so we get to go through some of these. I think we get to go through some of these models today that have worked so well.
Absolutely. Yes, we do. And I think there's something to be said for partnering as well, right? And so that's where revenue by design came from. 10 years ago, we went to market as inside sales by design because inside sales was and still is this 40-year overnight sensation in the making. And so it's really about being deliberate and being intentional to be successful. And that's what we want to talk with you about today. And so I think start by telling us a little bit about FlowChat, and then walk us through what you're going to show us. And I'm pretty sure in everybody's mind, the question is going to be, how does this work? What does my team look like? Is there AI involved? Of course there is, right? All that good stuff. So start by telling us a little bit about FlowChat, and then walk us through in a little bit more detail some of the motions that we saw during Reps.
Yeah. So flowchat.com is a SaaS tool. So it's software, a monthly or annual license, and it's a sales tool specifically. So it helps you sell more of your stuff, your product, your service, your offering. It helps you sell more of that. So, how do we go about that? Well, some people want to book more like sales calls or demo calls. Some people want to drive more traffic to a webinar. Some people have a funnel or a VSL, like video sales letter, like, hey, just like go to this website and they go through the funnel and watch the video and then buy something or book a call from there, or podcasting like we're doing now. Some people want to be on more podcasts or have certain guests on their podcasts. These are just a few examples of how people are going to market and distributing, like marketing, gaining inbound and outbound traffic to close more deals. And FlowChat works specifically on social media. And so it's on 15 different platforms. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok. You see where this goes. There's 15. Some people are 15 of them. I'm like, I guess so. This is what people ask for. So our whole roadmap, like the features that we're building, paying for and developing and maintaining, it's all public. People can go to our change log, flowchat.canny.io, and you'll see what people are requesting, what people are voting on. And so they have like direct connection with our product team, which is a huge side note or tip. Don't guess with your products or services. Whatever your product or service or program is, the answer is in the mind of the market. And if you never go to the market and ask them, they'll never have the opportunity to just tell you. Yes. The best copywriters aren't the ones you pay for. They're the ones that pay you for your product or service. They're saying, I vote for you with my Visa or MasterCard, and here's why. Here's what I heard. Here's what I felt, and why I'm confident, so confident I'd rather part ways with my own money and receive what it is you have to offer. I view it as more valuable than the dollar amount that I'm giving you. And until that happens, you don't have a transaction. Like if this water bottle is worth $10, to you, and you have $10, like you're not going to pay $10 for this. If this is worth $11 or more to you, then you'll pay $10 or less because you feel that it's a better exchange. It's more valuable than what you currently have. So you'll do the transaction. Anyway, so I like fundamentals of sales. So what we can do is there's actually 4 we won't have time to cover all 4 today, but there's 4 of the most profitable, organic direct message campaigns. It's not, yes, it involves DMs, but it's not only DMs. That's why it's a campaign. And we found just this pattern online on social to book calls, to drive traffic to your webinar, to get people to your VSL or on your podcast, or you go on theirs to share the good news of your company. Yes. And that it exists. So we can, I'm assuming since we're live on LinkedIn, maybe we should do a LinkedIn one. Let's do it. All right. So I'll share screen here. We can pull that up. We'll start with LinkedIn. And actually, you know what? Let's do this first. I like to start with the end in mind. Let's look at some numbers. You guys can actually take a screenshot of this. This is some data that we have that is compiled after analyzing just over 350,000 different campaigns, multiple different industries, multiple different platforms. These are some solid averages when it comes to, in this case, particularly booking a call just from social media. So, converting this for LinkedIn specifically, like outreaches would be connection requests. We want to see at least a 10 to 40% acceptance rate. Mm-hmm. And then if we reached out to 1,400 people, and there was only a 16% acceptance rate. This is like a real campaign that we ran at one point internally. And it was quite a while ago, but we've seen the percentages, like this is still our scorecard today. Mm-hmm. So for booking calls so when we fall outside of these numbers, we're like, oh, that part is broken. And it's either the lead quality or the words we're saying to the leads that is typically the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just go solve one or both of those. And then the rate's exactly where it needs to be for highly profitable campaign. Okay. So if it's in this case, this is kind of low, but it's still within a profitable range. So we've got 230 people that accepted. Of those that accepted, we'll engage with those people and we'll eventually invite them into a call. The big key to selling in DMs is not selling.
Yeah.
It's signal based. Like sales is taking, signal is inviting.
Mm.
So we're constantly inviting people into solving their problems and the words. It's not being crafty. It's being direct with people and upfront, but it's like I was just talking, for example, I was talking to somebody that has like a health, coaching program. And one of his first messages was like, "Hey, I only have 5 spots open. And, is there anyone that that would be a good fit for da 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 da?" And like, that's the first message. And we see a lot of these, and I'm not saying that doesn't work. But I am saying that it's really direct. And if you know that person really, really well, and there's previous rapport, all right, like you're going to get away with that, more so. But rather than that, like when it comes to health, really a lot of those programs are helping optimize for energy. And so what would be useful and helpful is do like a sleep audit. Most people love coffee. Like, hey, like what kind of coffee are you into? We can start around these things like, oh, like when do you, yeah, I'm drinking like 4 cups. Oh, 4. Like, are you, is that just because your energy levels are lower than normal?
Right.
We can start, what we're strategically doing is asking the exact question, directing the conversation, the direction we want to go. And it's just meeting people where they're at. Like a sleep audit is a really easy and free way to help serve somebody. And it's like, okay, well, sleep is only one of the 5 major pillars of how to, get your optimal energy for high performance. And so if you like what we did with sleep, then, my program, we actually go through the remaining 4 together to get from here to there, right? Whatever that transformation is. Even in this conversation today, right? There's 4 really profitable inbound and outbound flows that we've seen, but it would take we really literally just had a 3-day live workshop for 3 full days going through these. And so it doesn't make sense to even try to do all 4 here today, but we'll cover, I'll get into LinkedIn and share one in a second here. And for now it's like, hey, like here's what we do for free. And you can go use this now and benefit and maybe even double sales. And if you'd like to know more, here's how you can come learn more about FlowChat or come more into here's an invitation to do a free demo call and see what specific campaign would be most profitable for you and easiest and fastest to implement. So like, it's all the same thing. It's all the same pattern despite industry. And in this case, we get 20 to 50% to book a call. And of the people that book a call, we see a higher show rate because we're actually talking to these people in DM. It's not, I saw you on an ad and I booked a call, but I don't know you. And like, who cares if I don't show? And I'm not disrespecting like paid ads or funnels. Like I have plenty of friends that are really good at them and do a ton of them. I'm just saying they have a lower show rate generally, right? Because of the customer journey. This one is very personalized. It's very custom, and talking to somebody. And so we want to see a 70, 90% show rate. Of the people that show, this is still cold to sold, right? Or warm to sold. And we want to see a 10 to 40% close rate. If it's referral, we want to see at least 60% or higher on a close rate. So, but only 23% close rate, right? 1,400 outreaches. This campaign actually took place over 41 days. In this case, a $10,000 average ticket amount was sold, 17 units closed. That's 170, grand cash in 41 days, cash collected. So these are really, really profitable, really effective campaigns to run in someone's business. And the question kind of becomes like, well, how come more people don't do this? I mean, there are a lot of people that are on social. I'm sure we all get plenty of those messages and we could even go to mine and see like, what people are saying. We go to the message request bin. Hey, Chris, hey, Chris, hey, Chris, hey, Chris. It's like, well, Chris, I don't want to run campaigns like that. Like, I don't want to be that person. And I would encourage you, never be that person.
Right.
Neither do I. But look at it like this. Those are all your competition. You know how
Yes.
easy it is to stand out? You know, like all you need to do is reach out and like give someone a genuine compliment.
Yeah.
Actually listen to them. And you are now in the 3 percentile, you know, top 3%. And the world is your oyster. And so
Right.
you know, so okay, so what do we do? Flow Chat does a couple things simply. First, it's able to gather and import leads, like thousands, tens of thousands of leads in less than an hour for free, right?
Mm.
We have a Chrome, it's a software company, but we have a Chrome extension, and you can see the 15 different platforms that we're on, LinkedIn being one of them. Now, basically anything that you see in LinkedIn, in a click, you can now import that data, that profile data. You can, if they have their email or phone number available, it's also gathering that information. And if you're doing polls, you can do that. Any post that's there that people are liking. This is one in front of me. I can click the people that are liking this. I can import the list of people that liked this content, this post. I didn't post this, right? So anything that you can actually see, we can now import that data. And well, why does that matter? Well, if we first have the data, the second thing that FlowChat does are run these automated, organic, direct message campaigns. So we can imagine having like 1,000 plus of your ICP, your ideal customer profile. Okay. And you've curated it down to only the ones that are the right title and they have like a higher propensity to buy. And you're now sending up to 40 connection requests per day, 5 days a week, because there's 200 per week. That's the limit of LinkedIn for paid or free accounts. And like white hat. Right. But I'm not playing any like gray spaces with all this stuff. So, it's up to 40, connection requests per day, 5 days a week. And now, I mean, that's, if you play that out, 200 a week, that's 800 to 1,000 new connection requests sent per month. So on just LinkedIn, like we can do this pattern on all the other platforms too. But generally the transformation FlowChat provides you is you go from doing nothing on social media or very little sales, inbound, outbound activity to doing 800 to 1,000 new connections of only ideal people like clockwork. And 20 to 40% of those people will accept, and 20 to 50% of those people will book a call with you. And 70, 90% will show, 10 to 40% will close. Those are the numbers. So like we use FlowChat to sell FlowChat. We're booking one-on-one demos. We've consistently booked over 100 demos per month with a few profiles, like 2.5. And we're mostly booking these days from Facebook and LinkedIn, believe it or not. It used to be like 90% B2B from Facebook, and that blows people away. That's interesting. LinkedIn has been picking up. Like every industry is a little bit different. We've got plenty of people on Instagram. We've got, there's some people with Instagram with zero, like very little followers. We have some people with a ton of followers. One hot thing, just to rabbit trail a bit on Instagram, you can see mine. Like my profile is nothing crazy. Like I don't even have 3,000 followers, but I've done millions in DMs. Dollars closed.
Yeah.
Now listen, if you have more followers and engagement. Look, I only have 4 comments here. I have 0 there, 0 there, right? We can go through this. I'm just like, I don't have a ton of engagement. If you're somebody that does, you'll just go faster than me.
Right.
Right. But as you're getting new followers, like we can send an automatic DM to people that are following us. Now we don't do it instantly because people generally don't like that. Like it's like, okay, I just follow you and you immediately message me. It's automated. But wait minutes or an hour, a couple hours, 2 hours or so to speak. And what message is typically converting the best right now is just thanks for the follow. Are you here for the content, or insert your product or service? It's up front, but it's giving them an out. It's just letting them, just asking like, hey, what do you, hey, I'm here for okay, right on. Like, which piece, or what content are you enjoying the most, or what would you like to see more of? It can be that type of conversation. Sometimes people are like, no, I followed you because I need help with this one thing. And then you can get into serving them. And so, again, it's direct, it's upfront, but it's not, that salesy feel. And, that no one likes to do, and no one really likes to receive. And so it's like, let's just not do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an example. That was an example of like kind of an inbound flow that's working well right now.
Yeah.
I'm talking a ton. I'm going to take a drink of water. You say something, and then I'll share some more on LinkedIn.
It's okay. Thank you, Chris. I think this is really valuable, right? Because there are other tools out there that quote unquote do scraping or things of that nature. They've got to plug in. I think what I hear you talking about, though, is doing things in a way, going about the business of leveraging our connections, in this case on LinkedIn, in more of a healthy, functional way of genuine interest to connect at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
Right. Versus just like the cold outbound that a lot of people are doing.
Exactly true. I started face to face, like belly to belly, eye to eye, like in local chamber of commerce and BNI. And really what we're doing is digital networking. And, and so we also get a lot of referrals. That's how I learned in real life. And so I know what works in real life, and I'm really just helping people replicate those patterns of how like humans actually talk to humans and transact together, but in a social environment. People get this thing that I like to call, keyboard courage. Yeah. Where they like, okay, I'm just going to say whatever I want and who cares. And it's like, but as soon as you put them face to face, they like back down so hard, so fast. They would never, what they say in DMs, they would never say to somebody in real life. And what I want to do is just reconnect people. I'm like, no, if you were face to face with them, what do you actually say? What would you actually do? How would you look them in the eye and treat them? And just say that in DMs. And shockingly, it works 10x better, 100x better. Amazing. So, like even this, like content, on social, like this is like the stage. Like we all go to an event. Why are we there? It's like to meet more like-minded people and do business. Okay, great. So content is like the stage, but no one connects when somebody's speaking on stage. It's not till the presentation's done and then we all go in the hall or we're transitioning to the next thing. That's where we bump into each other. Or we go to dinner and we connect. Yeah. DMs are like the hallway of social media. Mm-hmm. And so if we treat it that way and we start with like, oh, hey, cool. Like what brings you here? Like, you just have some of those natural progressions. I'm not advocating chat in DM for years or months and sell nothing. That's not what I'm advocating. Right. Yeah. I'm just saying like, usually there's only 2 to 3, transition questions needed to qualify and move forward. So they're very efficient conversations as well. We have an ask method, ASQ. And there's a whole framework to that. Maybe on the next show we can get into that framework. But here's some fun things we can do with LinkedIn for everyone watching. Okay, let's think about LinkedIn events. Number one, we can send you can do 1,000 invites on LinkedIn to invite to your webinar or wherever. We can automate that process. And people, so it's like, whoa, okay, that saves a bunch of time. It has all the people in one area. You can follow up with them efficiently. And if you want, once you import, like I described, this is what a part of FlowChat looks like. A standard Kanban, sales pipeline. Yeah. So people don't get lost in the inbox, right? Because if we're on LinkedIn and we go here, we're not going to remember, okay, we invited 1,000 people. We're not going to remember Susie, Jeff, Bob, or Kyle, or Brittany from 2 days ago, that alone 2 months ago. And I'm not going to pay somebody to sit here and scroll. And then you have to read all of these conversations and know where they're at. Like that's just inefficient. It's so much time, very little money. But if we have it in FlowChat was built for my team, not for me. Right. No one's lost. I know that Jennifer's on stage 4 and I'm not focused on selling Jennifer. I'm just focused on moving Jennifer to stage 5. Right. And like it's all lined up here. But by the way, because it's here, we have automations running this pipeline, doing the action. So like just to share, like each day, in stage 3 after connection request is accepted, we're sending that direct message saying, hey, like, thanks for the connect. And then moving them to the next stage, right? You can see that those set of actions will happen. It's scheduled to happen every day. I can share what it looks like in a second too, but you can do other things too. Like you can come in here and completely customize these automations. For example, if I wanted to add a LinkedIn one and I also wanted to like a profile post, so I showed up in their notifications, I could just click that. and add that action here. And I'd probably put it, maybe I could even do it before I send the direct message. Right. So I was looking at their profile, like their most recent post, then sending the direct message.
Right.
So we can endorse skills automatically. There's all, it'd be mind numbing to like go through all there's AI. You can do AI stuff, you can comment with AI. You can, yeah. So if some people like, oh man, it takes so long to like do all the commenting on AI or LinkedIn, like you can use AI, there's prompts in here that you can put to, comment in the way that fits your brand voice.
Right.
As well. This is saving about 2 to 6 hours per day per profile. Yeah. Right. Yeah. When we started this process and we're doing this manually, we had just under 20 VAs.
Yeah.
And it made sense because we were doing, well over $1 million in sales with like the team, and VAs aren't, super crazy. At the same time, we're down to 2 now.
Yeah.
Like the automation is just handling it.
Yeah. I think, Chris, a lot of what you're talking about is the scalability of ourselves, right? Because you're not going to say something with the keyboard courage, which I really like that phrase, that you wouldn't say in person. Like just, I'm a huge fan of all the dictate features at this point, and like just talk it out loud and capture it and go from there at the end of the day, right? And all of the sales training, for lack of a better term, whenever I talk with teams and the workshops that we do, we always talk about, okay, what are the things that we can control? What are the actions and activities? And follow-up is always one of them. And if I have a nickel for every time somebody says, phone call, they don't ever answer, I would be retired at this point. Like it's been 20 years. And so typically what we do is we focus a lot on the follow-up. And we just wrapped up with a client where we were literally focusing on the follow-up, and the team brought in about $100,000 in orders.
Let's go.
Just in follow-up.
Yeah.
They pulled it forward.
Right now, like, you listening to this, watching this, you probably have at least $100,000 to $200,000 minimum just sitting in your inbox in social.
Yes.
And the reason it's okay, like, and you're not alone.
No.
Like I was in the same spot. And I knew it too, which made it more frustrating to me. Some people just don't even know. Right. But I knew. I'm like, I know, but I'm just not like, and it's not that I'm lazy. Like I've got 3 kids. I'm homeschooling. I'm running a company. I'm married. It's like, I can work all night. I can put, I can do all these things. I'm not afraid to like push myself. But at the same time, I'm like, it is so inefficient that my soul dies even thinking about it. And so I was like, how do I actually solve this problem? And, down the rabbit, I didn't think it was going to be building a software company. I'll tell you that. But down the rabbit hole I went. We built, we were already doing this, MVP, minimal viable product, for this company was Google Sheets. It was a Google Doc. And so we were just running this internally, and people were like, well, wait, how do we get that? And we're like, the processes. And we sold the processes for, multiple 5 figures, the SOPs and everything. And then, we just continued to do the same thing over and over these last 4 or 5 years. But we've refined, now people can access it in the form of tech for a fraction of the cost. Like we start at $250 a month. Like most people will close one deal in the first 30 days with FlowChat, and it pays for like 17 years of FlowChat. So it's not really like it's a sales tool. Like it's not, you don't need a ton of followers or following. You can go outbound, or if you have a bunch of followers and attention and marketing, you can do inbound flows. And this is what it looks like when you do, and I'll skim through this, but this is me rolling in the TV cart into the classroom, and you'll see the Kanban, pipeline. You'll see kind of the automations that you can just, customize and put in the order that you want. And then you can schedule, like right now, as we're talking, I have these automations running on all my social profiles. They're doing the prospecting for me. And it says, and then my team went from doing to reviewing. Now they're reviewing the conversations. And then they're, like you're saying, follow up. They're able to actually go follow up. I'm able to have automated KPIs and reporting, so I know which campaigns are converting and which ones aren't, and what to do about it if they're broken. And so now what used to take an entire day or hours takes me seconds for everything to be executed and see if I'm trending the right direction. Because when I go to Costco and I want to get milk and bread and all the things, my good ideas they still don't take those. They're like, okay, cool, but will that be Visa or MasterCard? Like, I got to solve real problems. I can't have just nice ideas. And then, of course, they're going to upsell me for their like Amex package card that goes with Costco or something. And I'll continue to say no. But, that's the experience. So what happens when these automations run is a window pops up. You actually get to see a window, like the work actually being done for you right in front of you. It'll process it. It's sending your connection requests. This is sped up, like just to overemphasize, because it doesn't just blast through everything. Some of these will take an hour or 3 hours because it's moving at the pace of a human and on purpose. And then it gives you a report of what's completed. But now you don't have to hire, onboard, train, retain, and manage somebody to do this. It just does it 24/7.
Yeah. And I think that's the key component right there, is how are we automating some of those tasks so we don't have 20 VAs and they can do something else, right? And or even people on our team. I think sometimes there's a fear factor of, well, if I don't do this, who does? Well, you know what? Maybe we learn something new and different, and there's a different skill set that can be deployed within our team or company that yields a better result at the end of the day. So
it's like these days, every company is a tech company. Well, I'm in real estate. I'm in, I'm in age. Yeah. Every company is a tech company. If you look at the top 10 most wealthiest companies right now, 9 of them are tech companies. Interesting. Or heavily leveraging tech, where it's the main driver. It's just, I'm not saying no people. I'm just saying tech and people. It's just a part of the marketplace these days. Here's one little short fun hack on LinkedIn you can do on LinkedIn events as well. Like, this is great for finding leads. So if you're watching this, you want more leads, you can do this for free right now. Like, after I'm done showing you this, to get not just the right titles, because everyone can search for a title on LinkedIn. Everyone knows that, right? Not everyone does it or is like awesome at it, but everyone can do it. So let's say, just for conversation, let's say we're looking for, CEOs, decision makers, and maybe they're looking for like marketing solutions or like that kind of thing. Instead of, and you don't even have to make a LinkedIn event for this. You can go to the bubble right here where it says events. If you click events, what you want to do here is, and there's so many of these events, find events that are solving the problem that you solve, or that solve a complementary problem, right? Like if we're in home services, for example, and you're talking about like a plumbing company and you're a HVAC, like AC, heating and cooling company, you guys serve the same person, but in a different way. So you want to find the events that your ideal customer is registering for. Okay. So once you find those events, for example, we can just click this one and we're like, okay, cool. All my people are going to this event. Well, there's a magical thing you can do here. If you click, I call this data plus intent. It's not just the data, the right titles and people. It's them leaning forward with the intent to buy, or leaning into the service and problem that you solve, essentially, right? They're warmer. They're further in their buying journey. Think about this. They woke up. They have a problem and pain. They're aware of that pain and problem, so much so that they had the audacity to say, I'm so desperate, I'm going to search LinkedIn and sign up for an event. Like, when we have problems, is LinkedIn events the first thing we think of? Absolutely not. No. We go to ChatGPT, we go to Google, we go to YouTube, we go to friends and network. We do almost everything before we go to LinkedIn events. But on LinkedIn event, if you're searching and you find the thing, and you hit attend and you register for the thing, you'll see this button just appear. It wasn't there before. Now it is. It says networking. Well, if we click this, this is the attendee list. This is your ICP raising their hand saying, I want this problem solved. This is their intent. This is a lot warmer than just someone with the right title that you want to build a relationship with. So if you're interested in cutting your sales cycle in half, right, in terms of time, normally we close deal in 2 months. If you'd like to close it in a month or earlier, and you can find data with intent, then you're getting further along. Well, now with FlowChat, I only want to talk to people that want this problem solved in the United States. Well, you can click see more here. And I like to hit see all. And now this list is loaded, and you can see there's an extension. The FlowChat extension now loads, and you can import this list in a click. Okay. So this saves people so much time, so much money. So your sales team doesn't hate you anymore because your quote leads are bad, you know, and then they're just not good. That's why I'm not closing. Like, everyone's got nothing but BS all around you. Not always ill-intended, but that's our role as leaders, is basically to solve all the problems so everyone can win and feel good about stuff. And notice that some are grayed out. If you want to do further searches, you can type in, like you can see their CEO typed in here, and it grays out all the people. Now look, this one says Chief Executive Officer. So I might want to add that title in there, or I could just remove that because I already know that this one is curated a little bit, and I could just hit start auto scroll, and it will load this page. And now you can see 20 profiles. You can see 30 profiles. And it'll load all these leads, right? So then I can hit import, and I can choose the pipeline within FlowChat I want to send it to. And then those scheduled automations in the campaign take over. And now you've gone from doing very little or inconsistent prospecting on social media to being a Swiss watch. You're doing this like clockwork, because you know, sometimes you have VAs and it's like, oh, well, it rained today and I didn't have internet connection, I couldn't do it, or like, man, I had all these calls, or I was speaking on stage, I had an event today, so I couldn't do it, or it's life, it's business. So it relying on you or team is like, it becomes ineffective for these low skill, high time, valuable revenue generating activities. They got to be consistent for revenue to be consistent in growth. And I mean, I'm more so like, hey, we had these, here's the problems we had, here's how we solved them, kind of thing. And it grew into, I guess we're building another SaaS company.
Here we are.
Yeah. So a lot of our, there's a lot of pieces of tech that will work on LinkedIn. There's a ton on LinkedIn, right? We're not, but there's not very many for Facebook profile. There's not a ton for Instagram. There's some on Instagram, but there's not a ton. There's not a ton for X. There's you know, even less to almost zero that are available for all of them. Right. And I just didn't, as a user in the market, right? A customer in the market, I didn't want to have to get all these different pieces of tech, learn how all of them worked, build SOPs for my team to know how to use them. I just wanted one license. Yeah. And I want to be able to use as many profiles as I wanted all in one area. So I had the data that, you know, I just want to see the KPIs. Like, are we like booking calls and closing deals or not? Like, that's what I need to know. So
bottom line, this has been amazing, Chris. I've seen FlowChat before, seeing it again. I'm a huge fan, love everything about it, love what you're doing. So please tell people how they should find you.
Well, social media, you know, like if you're on LinkedIn, you know, find me on LinkedIn. Chris Baden is my name, and you send me a direct message. If you, whatever other platform you like, send me a direct message there, and we can continue the conversation.
Yep. I love it, Chris. Thank you so much for taking the time to show everybody your platform, number one, but number two, also kind of share your leadership, founder, entrepreneurial mindset around everything and the problem you're solving, what you're doing. You also imparted so many nuggets of leadership along the way, and I really appreciate that as well. So thank you for joining, and everybody reach out to FlowChat and to Chris.
Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Thank you.